let's just have a quick look at important people within the organisation, and again, you may be tested on this, so maybe worth taking note. These are people that it would be useful for you to know. You won't necessarily interact with them on a daily basis, but useful people to know. The MAPS team. This is the team that deals with marketing, administration, some of the school services as well. But they're basically the people who, more often than not, will have sold the course that your students are doing with you to your students. So they're very important. They're representing you and representing the work that you do. We have Dave, Linda, Kasia, Paul, Tanya, and Teresa working in the marketing team, and you may see them during the summer walking around with prospective clients. They may contact you occasionally through your Director of Studies to find out particular information about a particular client, because again they're responsible for reporting back to both agents and in some cases parents about how your students are doing. Excuse me. The finance team, crucial if you want to be paid. We have Jessie, Peng, Edward and Rosa. They work with the marketing team in our central offices at 111 Baker Street. Feel free to drop in any time. And again, you may well communicate with Jessie, Peng, Edward and Rosa about payroll, about your salary. Also, if you are arranging anything that requires money, your Director of Studies is likely to liaise with the finance team, but there may be times when you get involved with them too. So they're good people to know. The transport team, our transport is outsourced to an organisation called Smart Bus, run by the Smart family, and we have Sue Smart, Tony Smart and Darren Smart, and a plethora of drivers who work very, very hard to make sure our children get in on time in the mornings. They start work a lot earlier than we do usually, and also make sure the children get home safely at the end of the day. In addition, they help transport students around, whether it be for sports, for excursions that we run, etc. So you may be in contact with Sue, Tony or Darren in regards to setting up an excursion, etc., etc. So it's good to know who they are too, because they get us around. In York Terrace there's an admin team. Hopefully you'll meet them either during induction or at the start of your stay with us, and they are Selena and Gary, and they basically deal with day-to-day inquiries coming through the school office. They'll produce various lists for you, such as class lists, bus lists, etc. Crucial people to know. There's an admin team at Star Street, and they are going to be Aisha and Catherine, and they're going to do a similar kind of job. So again, very, very important. Please remember to greet them with a smile every morning, and hopefully you get one back, and have a good start to the day and a good end to the day with them. We talked through management already of both the York Terrace site, the Hellenic Centre site, and the Star Street site, and finally the catering team. Crucial. Basically, again, our catering is outsourced, and Laura and Royston are our catering supervisors. Usually one will be working on one of our sites, and they'll be working with the team, preparing fabulous food, and again, a smile, some positive feedback for them whenever the food's great. They tend to sometimes feel that they only hear when the food's not so great, and so I encourage you very much to come and enjoy our delicious school lunches, which are part of the package in summer school. You get lunch thrown in, and feedback to Laura and Royston if it's good, and if it's not, of course, feel free to offer them some constructive feedback too. Okay, so they are the important people. Hopefully you can see then the lines of communication are that as a teacher, one would generally report through to the ADOS or through to the Director of Studies if you had some kind of problem or issue, and they would usually come to me. However, I always say that also, my door is always open. I'm contactable by email at any point during the summer, and you will have my email address, so I'd be very happy to hear your feedback, either via email or whilst I'm walking around the schools and seeing how things are running during the summer. Okay. Welfare is, as I mentioned earlier, the most important part of the work that we do with our students. It's our #1 priority. We are put in charge of the care of junior students by their families, and for the time that they're with us, we are in, there's an official term, loco parentis, which means that we basically have the responsibilities of a parent whilst students are in our care, whether it's residential or non-residential. There are some key areas with welfare. I don't want to talk about them. I'm going to set you a task now, and I'd like you to think about that and come to Induction Day loaded up with some questions. And they're questions based around these areas. These are the key parts of welfare and the way in which we run it in the school. We have a welfare policy. There's a child protection policy, all available to you both online and in your handbook. Problems. We need to think about what we do if we have problems. Physical contact. This can be a contentious issue. Security, excuse me, and attendance and absence. These are the key areas connected with welfare. What I'd like you to do is pause me now and spend a few minutes thinking of some questions related to these areas, and when you come to your induction program, I'd like you to sit with your Director of Studies and discuss these questions as a group. So pause me now and write yourself a few questions. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you've written those questions, and I'm sure your Director of Studies look forward to discussing them with you in the next couple of weeks. Couple of key principles with welfare. I'm just going back to our organogram, the responsibility and the lines of communication. Welfare. Our main message with welfare is if you have a problem, tell someone. Always tell someone, and there will be a poster up in every classroom to that effect, and telling students that they can tell a friend, they can tell their teacher, they can tell me, they can tell their Director of Studies, they can tell someone in admin. Now, a real key for any adult that works with us is that, yes, we're very open to students disclosing information to us, but we cannot guarantee confidentiality. If we feel that something is disclosed that potentially puts a child at risk, then we have an obligation to report that. And so the lines of reporting, again, similar to our organisational diagram. I'm just circling myself there, because I'm, as well as being Director of Junior ELT, I'm also the Summer School Child Protection Officer, and it's very, very important that our students are aware that I am the person who's ultimately responsible for their welfare in the school. Obviously, when we're talking about a 3-year-old, we need the language we use to describe that needs to be a little bit different, but it's just very, very important for students to know where they can go with a problem and where would be the last resort in terms of a problem that they had, and that would be me. Okay, so I just wanted to outline that part of welfare. The rest will come through through the questions that you devise with your and answer with your Director of Studies. Okay. Okay, the final area I wanted to look at today was taking students outside of the school. On all of our courses, we take students out of the school a lot. I'd say that on average, at least twice per week, students are taken outside of the building. We would encourage that to be more and more often. We really, really believe in the outdoor environment and outdoor learning, the outdoor classroom, experiential learning from being outside. And if you want to take your students out on a trip in addition to the excursions and sports programs that we run, I'd encourage you very much to do so. Go through your Director of Studies to make the arrangement, follow the guidelines that we have very, very clearly, and go for it, because there's no better learning than learning outside of the classroom. Very quickly, some guidelines. Again, you'll be asked to discuss this a little bit during the induction day, so please pay attention to what we're going to go through now. Take some notes, and you may be asked about this when it comes to the induction program too. Okay. Just some key principles. So, for any excursion, every member of staff who's going, the Director of Studies, and also the office staff need the following. They need an itinerary, a student list, and a risk assessment. Now if it's a whole school trip, that will be prepared for you. If it's a class trip that you're arranging, you will need to prepare those documents. We have templates. You don't need to rewrite a risk assessment every time you go on a different trip. You just have to pay attention to specific risks of a particular place. Okay. Please remember to head count frequently. Head count the students before you leave the classroom, head count them when you get to the office or when you get outside of the office door, head count them as you get them onto the bus, head count them on the bus, head count them off the bus. Make head counting fun. You can make a little bit of a joke out of it. The great thing about head counting is A, it checks that you've got the right number of students with you, but B, also makes sure that students really understand that you're really concerned about keeping them close by, and that should encourage them to be close to you as well. Okay. In terms of going on excursions, we don't allow any students to go off exploring on their own. If you do so, their welfare is your responsibility. Now you may decide to take the responsibility of letting a group of 3 or 4 older students go and do something at some stage, but I think especially for the London schools, there isn't really any time for shopping as such, so there's no real need for students to go off and explore on their own. So please be aware that the message from the school is students don't go off to explore alone. For the London sites, we don't allow students to go shopping on excursions. We need consistency with this message. I know it's tempting. I understand that sometimes you can make your students very, very happy when there's a shop just next to where they've finished the excursion and they could just pop in there. The issue is that if your class can go in, then the class that comes out a little bit later can't because they're pushed for time. It's not really fair. In addition, some students don't bring money for the trips. The students on London-based courses have weekends with their families. They can buy anything they need to buy during that time. So please, I appreciate your cooperation in advance for that. In terms of walking students around, we should ask students to walk in pairs all the time. If there are 2 teachers, 1 teacher at the front, 1 at the back, no one passes the teacher in front, no one drops behind the teacher at the back. And if there are 3 teachers, the same, but with 1 in the middle as well. Please, road safety, we need to be very, very aware of it. Many of our students are used to traffic being on the other side of the road, so they do tend to sometimes step out unaware that there's something coming from the opposite direction to which they're looking in. So please, front teacher waits for all the group to be ready to cross. The front group then leads the group across the road. The back teacher moves up the line to make sure the traffic doesn't move and shepherds students across the road. Basically, no students should cross the road on their own, ever, and what you need to do is get the whole group across at the same time. So you wait, get everyone together, and then cross together. Students can be trained in this very, very quickly, and it makes taking them out of the building a lot less stressful for you following that guideline as well as the other guidelines too. Okay. Okay, that's been our flipped induction day. I hope it was. I hope there was lots of new information there for you, and that you've got a clearer idea about the organisation, the people in the organisation, and also some of our guidelines for welfare. I hope you're going to enjoy the quiz that I'm going to set you for the induction day itself. You can email me at any time on my email there. And yeah, if you're intrigued or interested in the idea of flipping the classroom, could be an interesting project for someone for the summer, then please just pop to the Khan Academy on YouTube and watch, and you will come up with this video here on this organisation called TED, which is full of inspirational educational talks. So worth checking that out. And yeah, thanks again for your time, and I hope you enjoy your induction day, enjoy your first days working at ICS, and I really look forward to coming and seeing you at work in your classrooms and out and about with your students over the summer. Okay, have a good day. Bye.